Hello everyone, I'm Psychotic, and that's also my screen name. Welcome back for episode 6 of our Boron playthrough of X4. Today we're still a little slow, though not nearly as bad as last episode. We're continuing to build our supply line for our shipyard. We're also going to try to put our Rattlesnake into use a little bit today. I'm hoping to get the weapons up and ready so that we can make a run on a couple of stations, clear out that area in Boron space, potentially take out the Xenon station that they've thrown up in Hatikva's Choice. We're also going to work on our research and see if we can't start the diplomatic path with the new diplomacy update. I'm hoping to incite a couple of wars, definitely against the Paranids and possibly against the Pioneers of Sagaris. They have a really nice system down there that I would love to be the owner of. It would be nice to be able to build a secondary shipbuilding platform down there. If you guys learned anything useful today, or if you have a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, here we are ready to turn on our flux capacitor. So we got really lucky with the flux capacitor. There was a Kaak invasion of Heretic's End right by the incoming warp gate. So all I had to do was unlimber the katana, take out a handful of Kaak, and ta-da! Yeah, they came in down here. And then we trashed them. I think most of the ammo loot has despawned. But yeah, we just came down and took them out. Handled that. So we'll turn this in and see what we need next. And hopefully we already have it. We'll give the flux capacitor. Looks like the programmable field arrays we already have as well. Perfect.
Hello there.
We'll deliver that too.
Now then, we should be able to begin our research. I look forward to seeing how this turns out.
All right. And that's that. Our SETA research is now underway. 10 minutes and we'll be able to speed up time, which is going to help drastically with our station building over here. We're well on our way to having our monstrosity here ready to go. I did add some more. I felt like 5 wasn't enough, and I think it's because the Boron stuff is smaller, like significantly smaller. We now have the large Oasis as well. It's significantly smaller, so I bumped us up to 15, and we'll see how that goes. But it's most of the way through production. I mean, there's still some stuff that it needs to do, and we still need some materials, but we're well on our way. Okay, I guess there's still a lot that we need to do. It started, and that's the important bit. So now we needed 3 of the energy cells and a bunch of the other stuff. Basically, I just attached them on wherever I could that looked fairly symmetrical. I mean, it's a giant cross, basically, but it works. Plus sign, rather. We needed 7 metal refiners instead of 3. We needed 7 large oases, several water, I think 2 water productions, 3 bofu, and 3 medical supply, and 2 graphene. So we just bumped everything. There's 4 plankton now, which I made kind of look like gears up here, which is kind of cool. And then our normal stretch, and then our little spine thing that comes down to everything. So it works. I was able to slip this in between all the storages, and then I tacked on a couple of extra storages because I wasn't sure. And then we stuck a bowgas on the end just in case. And we're good to go. We might actually add another large container storage as well, since we have 2 of each of these. We should probably have 2, double the amount of container storage. But I'm pretty sure, at least in the beginning, we're going to have a lot more hull parts outgoing than are being made. So we're going to be using them as we get them. I also changed our advanced electronics factory into a water factory, because something I found with a lot of the parts from the Boron is they require water straight up for their stuff. It's usually just Claytronics, energy cells, and hull parts with the occasional advanced electronics, and these guys are Claytronics, energy cells, hull parts, and water. So we're going to have our own water refinery, even though that's not something I did with the split, because I think that's going to actually help us get stations up and going faster. I'm pretty sure most of the ships require it as well.
There are rumors that
I really need to take care of him.
Find it enjoyable to hack a station's storage and
so our next research, now that we have the time compression going, is going to be the embassy management, so that we can get agents.
Any and all illusions that the station personnel may have.
We are also extraordinarily close to having our Terrans reach 20. At which point we will be able to purchase the battleship. You cannot buy a battleship, you must make a battleship. But we can purchase the recipe for it, which is the important bit. And then from there, we're basically just trying to get the rest of our stuff together and start building our fleets. We're going to go on the offensive here in the very near future. Um, Everything that we've been making money-wise has been getting thrown into stations. We've actually made quite a bit, and a fair bit of time has passed just letting things collect and build and doing small maintenance here and there in the off hours. Our Raptor is now fully outfitted with the exception of shields and engines, the same as our Rattlesnake. So they're sitting over here waiting for level 20 from the humans, or from the Terrans, so that we can go into the moon and get our equipment there. That's the main part that we're waiting on there. And the Xenon are beginning to be quite a nuisance up here. So I'm hoping that we can get some fleets off the ground soon. I want, particularly since the Boron and the Split are at war, I would really, really like to be the one to take the Split out instead of letting the Xenon do it and then just cleaning up the Xenon. I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Kind of a role play thing there. Especially to flip on them because right now we are their staunchest allies. Like we're 24 with I guess no, Boron finally passed him. ZYA is 24 and Boron's 24. And then Ant's just gone through the roof. Talati is up there, which is unfortunate because we really don't need much from Talati. Most of what we need comes from Min. And Min is almost nothing, but they are very difficult outside of the small missions that they'll give you to raise because they don't really have any trade stations. They are almost all the trade stations around them are Talati. It's like the Argonian. I guess it is technically Argonian. Argons. Wrong game there for a minute. Sorry. HOP and Ant are really going at it over here. Oh, they wiped most of the standing armies out. That's awesome. No wonder we're having a hard time getting hull parts. Well, that's not going to be a problem much longer.
Awaiting orders.
And I'm just going to leave them here. I had them elsewhere for a minute, but I'm going to leave them here so that they can do the same thing if we get attacked by Kaak again. I actually lost a small trade ship, which really annoys me. So I had to rebuild a new one. I want the laboratory. There we go. Sometimes my brain just decides to go on hiatus. Alright, now we should be able to come over here and access the things that they dropped off. So we actually had not so much this last trip. I tried to pick them up as I was going, but there were some that didn't get picked up, and once the fighting was done, I just set the 2 ships that were here to collect loot and then came back. So I didn't have to do it by hand. I'm very much looking forward to 20 with the Terrans, though. Getting the blueprint for their Biggin. I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of that ship. Where's the Terran guy? There he is. The one whose beard's a different color than his hair, which makes me think one of the two is fake. Build blueprint. Ships extra large. Asgard. I couldn't remember the name of it, but we need 261 million for that. That's going to be kind of painful. We also need to pick up out of the large the Heron and the Sin. The Rattlesnake is absolute hell on wheels in players' hands, and it is in NPC hands too, but it's kind of squishy. So I've found the best way to send them out because the Sin is a tank. So if you send out 3 and 3, they're basically unstoppable. The Sins will tank everything while the Rattlesnakes just destroy it. It works really, really well. Especially if you have the Sins being your lead and then have your Rattlesnakes defending the Sins in the fleet setup so that the Rattlesnakes will never be the first ones in. It works very well. So that's kind of what we're going with here. We need the Heron Freighter. It's not the best for going super long distances, but for what we're doing over here, it should do very, very well by us.
Something hit us.
Oh. Where are you? You're not an unassigned. You would either be a fleet. Yep, you're a fleet. And you're in Argon space. Holy. Alright, well, looks like another job for our katana, doesn't it? That might actually be kind of fun. Some of these look kind of burly. We might well lose that miner. That would be unfortunate. Well, what's our rep with the ARG? Do we even care? Yeah, we kind of care. Damn it. Yep, we lost it. Oh, maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to go into information. And we're going to remove your flea. And we're going to actually adjust your docking range to bring you up into here. Let's see if he can get away. Why did you kill your engines, buddy? Go. Oh, that's going to be close. Oh, that was close. That was really, really close. Once he gets a serious distance away from them, we'll cut this off and just have him go straight over there. But he is going to have to stop and heal himself. Okay. They've lost interest, so we remove that order. We'll let him go there, and then we can send him up to here for repairs. Oh! Looks like the Paranid are moving into faulty logic. We might want to get in on that, just so we can get drops. Alright, so now we just need our Katana to get down here, and we can go clean up the Ka'ak for them. Alright, well that could have been much worse. We actually saved the ship by some quick thinking, which was very happy. And this was to replace the guy that we lost earlier. So we're gonna fire you.
Can I help?
No, you can't help, that's the problem. You're the captain now. So our Boa is actually going to be the trader for the hull parts factory. Or at least a trader for the hull parts factory. He's the start of it. With the right engines and whatnot, a Boa is going to be able to, in a smaller area with no trade lanes, be a solid medium trader. So that's why we've got him here. And then we're going to have large traders as well. We're also cherry picking what we need as far as miners go. So for our trading miners, we're using something a little bit different. We're going to be using the porpoise for gas. So we're going to be using the Plutus mineral for solids, for mediums, and the Plutus gas for mediums as well. And then for our larges, we're going to be using the crane, obviously. And for our smalls, if we were to use them, we would be going with the courier. But we're not going to use smalls for trading. That's stupid. We're probably not even going to be using larges for trading. The larges are going to be for mining. Theoretically, with the amount of distance we're talking about, one jump with no trade lanes and less than 500, well, it's actually probably less than 250 kilometers. We are definitely looking at the Plutus, which can do 106 meters cubed per second. And if we look at our station calculator, we need significantly less than what this can output. So because we were looking at output per hour, so if we take that, if we take the 84.1 times 60 for seconds to minutes, and then times 60 again for minutes to hours, we're looking at 302,760 meters cubed per hour. And we really only need around 140. So that's more than enough, and they're going to be free once we get the recipes. So that's why we're going with the ones that we're going. But we are well on our way. Now we just need that the Terrans to trip over. 19. They're getting closer all the time. Tikva's slowly going up too, and I think that's because we've been giving them power cells from our PHQ. Because they're all around in the system where our PHQ is. And I think we've been supplying them with cells. Why do you have energy cells? I guess just transfer them? He's got the room, let him have them. You're just a regular Pegasus Vanguard. What the hell are you doing out here? I don't remember sending it. Oh, you didn't even have any inventory. So let's send him somewhere where he can be more useful in preparations to scout. So we'll send him over here to hang out with the larges to go through to the moon once we get capability.
Queen's Guard.
Okay, Queen's Guard's the closest. We're cut off about here and coast in.
Five Guard.
Kill our inertia, turn it back on, boost to get the speed back. A little bit up to avoid that meteor or asteroid. Come on then, let's do this.
Five Guard. Queen's Guard.
No mess, no fuss.
Katana.
The drops do despawn fairly quickly. That's why I like to have more than one ship out here to collect drops. And then once these guys are done, we will have them go back to home base. But that should give our miners a bit of a reprieve. And then we can just have them divest their inventory once they're up here. And in the interim, so that they don't have to actually navigate the field, we're going to get out a system for them. We're just going to teleport up here, and then it's going to pretend like there's not actually asteroids there. Ta-da! I'm gonna have to get another personal katana just to keep them in multiple places. Alright, so we're going to actually stop guidance, and we're going to remove that order, and have them... Actually, let's not do fly and wait, because bad things will happen. We're gonna have them attack targets in the area. And I actually wanted to check something in the loadout. So these are set to defend. So we're going to have them set to attack fighters first because they're shard turrets. That's something new from the combat update. You used to only have defend, attack all enemies, attack capital ships. Now there's attack them first. So they will go after, and you could actually do shoot missiles first as well, which would be ideal if we were fighting Paranid. But in this particular case, we're going to have it attack fighters first, which is something that we actually, I had set up off camera, and sorry about that, for the Raptor. Oh, I guess I didn't set it up for the Raptor. I must have set it up for the other guy. So for these, we're going to set these up to capital ships first for the plasmas. Oh, this is the Raptor. The Raptor I never set up, that's why. So, and then these will have, actually it's probably faster to do it this way just because there are so many. We're going to set them all to attack fighters first, which will change everything, and then we can change just the plasma to attack capital ships first. This way they'll go after their intended, what they were purchased for, and then once those are all dead, if there's still things up, then they will shoot those as well. And I still overshot into these because I was talking and not paying attention. There we go. Capital ships first, then fighters first. That's perfect. It would be kind of funny to send the Raptor in there, but by the time it got up here, it would all be over but the crying. Oh, and they're attacking a plunderer too. I kind of just want to let them do it. I can't do that, though. They're a nuisance. They're going to move that, though. Alright, and they're done collecting loot already. And actually well on their way back. Oh, I bet the people I picked up weren't Borons. They were from the traders earlier that had non-Borons on them. I bet that's exactly what it is. Oh, we're out of basic piloting seminars. Noted. So we can't actually have him do what we need him to do, which means we're going to have to pop over to him and hope that they have on their station some piloting books.
Entering system. Great Reef.
Alright, we have 2 traders' corners.
Can I help? Here you go.
Books. You have 1-star management books. That is not the most helpful.
Pleasant travels.
Perhaps your counterpart has the rest of what we need.
Can I help? Here you go.
Well, 1 star for piloting, but that does not help us with the basic seminar. Although usually I get better luck out of the other spots. So we're going to cheese this. He's going to a random meat factory, so we're going to teleport to him. And then once he's
Entering
docked,
system.
we're
Morning
going to run
Star.
out. Because we can always teleport home from where we are. We just used him to get on a station. One of the nice things about having a trade empire is they're friggin' everywhere. But these smaller stations I've had much better luck with the books with than I have with
Can I
the
help?
actual
Here you go.
wharves. Basic seminar for management. Actually no books here. Interesting. I mean, it happens, but... all the way down there for loots? Oh, well, I guess if they're still fighting, then go for it, man. Come on, we just cleaned them up. They must have a base here.
Entering system.
Yeah, I don't trust you to
Heretic's
fight, sorry.
End.
Not in my good ship.
Protector. Guard. Forager.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a police fleet up here real soon, just to keep our station clean. Just some random junk. Alright. It's really not anything particular that we're after anymore. Anything that we get now is going to be for mods. but we can't actually mod anything until we get access to the research for it. And I don't want to do that until we've got the embassy research finished, because I would really like to be able to
Can I help? Here you
use
go.
diplomacy to get the other nations at each other's throats for us. That makes war much, much easier. There's some piloting books.
Split wish you fortune.
We were here the whole time. That's interesting. Alright, so now we can go back to our magpie. Yes, it was. So let's calm him.
Can I
We're going to
help?
give you a seminar for basic piloting and 1-star.
Ma'am.
We need them to be 2-star, ideally. I guess it's only 1 for that, isn't it? For repeat. Yeah, it was only 1. That's alright. We're going to confirm the behavior before you start giving commands, because it wipes your commands otherwise. I'm going to have you buy from full parts, fill your full, regardless of price. Confirm. And then we're going to have you do the same with the other hull parts. Alright, then we are going to have you sell to build storage, hull parts. Don't keep any, and sell as cheap as possible. It's going to be free, but that way we don't have to worry about him trying to sell someplace else because of the market. Alright. This half-star doesn't matter, because they're going to be trading for a station. So their effectiveness is determined by the station master, not by them. So it doesn't matter that he's a half-star, he'll be able to trade just fine. So once we get that one, we'll probably do the mods, so that we can unlock modding, and then we'll go back to Embassy 2. Depending on what's... It just says maximum number of agents, so it depends on how useful the agents are, I suppose, as to which of those is going to take priority. But for right now, that's how I'm thinking. We do the first tier so that we have agents, then we do our mods, and then we do the second tier so that we have more agents. I guess quite a bit of time has passed in this save at this point. A lot of it has been spent not necessarily idle, so we got things started before we let it start idling. There have been trades and builds going on while we've let it run. Because normally in the early game I don't ever let it run, I always pause. Like, I anxiously pause in the early game, just so we don't get overrun by Xenon. But once you have other things going on, it doesn't hurt nearly as bad to let some time slip by. Let's see how much time we have in save. I guess that is a time. Maybe it's 1 day? I think it's 1 day, 7 hours, 39. So we're at 32 hours, 31 hours, something like that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, I mean, we're quite a bit of time into this save, but I also, one of the times when I said I was going to let it run for a little bit, I accidentally fell asleep. And it ran for quite a bit longer than I meant to let it run for. Instead of a couple of hours, it was closer to 8. So not all of that time has been spent productively, although things going on in the background are still productive. Our main hang-up right now is still waiting for that Terran diplomacy to trip over. It's got to be getting close. Then we'll go through and double-check all of our recipes, make sure that we have all of the ship recipes that we want, and then we can start building our fleet and starting wars. Okay, we are ready to get started on our Claytronics factory. Our hull parts factory is actually completely finished now. So we've got our 13 hull part productions, we've got all of our housing, our energy kind of nestled in there a little bit. We've got our bow gas stuck off the end, a handful of refined metal up here off of a dead end, and two water out off to either side, and then our medical supplies and our bofu out the front. Just making a nice little symmetrical shape. I kind of like the way this station turned out. I think it's quite pretty, actually. So this is that station. We're about to get started on our Claytronics factory, and I have our ship in position. Our Rattlesnake is in position and ready to go in and clean out the Ka'ak out of Sanctuary of Darkness. And we have our Raptor fully outfitted now, including his fleet. So the Raptor can have 120 small ships docked in it at a time, but a lot of them go into internal storage. It can only actually have 20 on deck. It can also have 1 medium ship. So if you see it says 121 on the wiki, that's what it's talking about. There's 1 medium dock up here at the back. So we could dock our Katana on there if we were taking it with us while we were flying personally. So the way that I split this out, since they can have 20 on deck and the rest go into internal storage, I only bothered with 20. So we've got two groups. We have interception and bombardment. Our interceptors are Tacobas, and they have... Actually, it's probably easier to show you if I go this route. So if we were to pretend that we're going to upgrade one, you can see what it's got on it. So they all have the Split Mark 4 engine. They've all got Combat 3 thrusters. They all have Terran Mark 3 shields. And they have two pulse lasers each from Terran Mark 2. Just to hit hard, to take out smaller ships. They've got quite a bit more shields than the bombers do, but they're not really kamikaze style. They're for fighting off other fighters. And then our bombers have... Whoops. Do the same thing to check them out. So our bombers also have the Split Mark 4 combat engine, max thrusters, Terran shields. Only one shield on these guys, and they are mostly hull tanks. And then their weapons, they actually have 4 Tier 2 torpedo launchers. So these 4 guns are all torpedo launchers, and they are completely loaded up with torpedoes. Heavy torpedoes, mind you. And then their 5th gun, the one in the center here, is a Terran pulse laser in case they run out of torpedoes. It doesn't happen frequently, but it can happen. Usually they die before they run out of torpedoes. But I don't want them to be completely useless if that happens. So we've got 10 for taking on big ships and 10 for taking on little ships. And then the turrets on the Raptor itself are set up for taking on big ships and taking on little ships. Right now I've just got it defending Heretics, and we've had a couple of Ka'ak incursions, and I got tired of having to send ships all the way back over here to fight them off, so he's just going to hang out there for a minute. I really don't want to send him up against a station because the bombers will make very quick work of it, but we'll also lose a bunch and have to rebuild them. And since we had to purchase all of these, I would really rather not do that. We've spent quite a bit of time with the time ticker going, so we have a fair bit of money, but I really don't want to blow a bunch of it on fighters that we could have just not lost in the first place. That seems wasteful. And then I've currently got, because pirates have been a problem around here, I've currently got our Katana over here just doing a quick patrol. He's fought them off a couple of times. They keep coming back. Every time we kill them, they just respawn. That's a neutral. That's actually Boron. So they will say BOR until you've scanned them, and then they'll say SCA. But they will say like Marauder or something instead of... Like that one says fighter. That one also says fighter. Okay. Apparently we're safe at the moment. It shouldn't take too long before another one shows up. I had him up here patrolling, and then I had the Raptor down there. But the Raptor wasn't quick enough to respond to the lighter ships, and I figured having it at the home base was actually for the best. But let's go ahead and build our Claytronics factory. So we're going to do a couple of different things here. We're going to plan build. And I am going to share my main screen with you. So we want we want Claytronics. So we're going to type in Claytronics. We're going to start with 5. We're going to autofill. It shows that we need 13,000 people. So that's going to actually increase what we need even further. So we're going to do Oasis, large. And if we add 13 of these, it's going to give us what we need to produce for them, which bumps us to 15.5. So if we take this 13 up 2 more and autofill, did that change anything? No. So at this point, we can add a medium and a small or another large, and I don't know which way is going to be best. Honestly, a medium and a small is probably for the best. So let's do Oasis medium and Oasis small. All right. Autofill modules. So everything looks great. It's going to need helium, hydrogen, methane, ice, and silicon. And it's going to be fairly expensive to build. They are going to produce 2,800 Claytronics an hour at 5. That's a lot of investment for 2,800 Claytronics. But not all ships, in fact, very few ships require Claytronics. And the ones that do are just a token tithe. The big part of Claytronics actually goes into other stations. We're going to go that route with it. If we turn off that, if we were to just outright sell them all, it would be worth 12 million an hour. So that's not super bad. But now we know what we need. If you guys want to screenshot this over here, it tells us, I'll just leave that on. If you want to screenshot over here, it'll tell us exactly what we need to build. and then we will start going through it. Now, I did have one of the issues that I was talking about with this one, where I did not take off our storage and put them back on so that they would build last. So we wound up with a dearth of energy cells. We have way more energy cells than we need, and it's taking up space that we could use for other stuff. So that's a bit of a problem. We also need a few more traders, it looks like. Well, no, he's coming. The traders just aren't pulling as much as I had hoped. We might need to get a couple more ore traders in here. It's the ice and the ore, they keep like alternating, and they're barely keeping up. I mean, we only have 8 out of 13 running because we don't have enough of the materials. Refined materials, oddly enough. So we might build another couple of trading medium ships, or maybe a large, just to get them going. So we're going to start this off the same way. We need to orient to that direction. Same as this guy. And it helps that we can actually see this guy, so we can tell kind of what's going on. So if we orient this way, we need a dock. We're going to set it up more or less the same way we did the other one, which is the way I set up pretty much all of my stations. I'm going to start with the large one. Go to 180. We're going to get it right up to the edge. And we're not going to go right exactly at the top like we did last time, because we had to bump it down a couple of times. So we're going to move it a little bit further down, especially since we didn't come anywhere near the bottom of our space over here. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Now we're going to want the luxury dock. And I think this one's sideways compared to the way I like it. It is indeed. Turn it this way. And then we want our 8 medium luxury, because most of our stuff comes from the medium. And then we're going to want to cross. So the argon cross. And then a vertical 2, and that's what we will build off of from there. So if we start looking at parts that we need... Oh, this one's going to be a mess. This one is going to be an absolute mess. Slap down another cross. We're just going to work our way down because we're going to need multiple layers on this one. Alright, so now we've got some layers. Now we know that we can put our storages up here. We can put one off the side and then attach them to each other. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Energy cell production is going to need 4. So we're going to have to get a little bit creative on that one. So we're going to take him, we're going to turn him 90 degrees. And then we're going to straighten it out a little bit because I don't like the way well, no we're not. There's only one way it'll let us put it, so that's the way we're going to put it. Alright, copy module on the other side. Then we're going to copy module again and see if it'll let us put another one. It will. And copy module and put one on this side. Nope. Alright, so how close are we here? We might be able to get away with this. It's going to be close. Nope. Oh, that's annoying. It's like right on the edge too. Just a hair too short. We could always expand our... Let's do this. We're just not gonna hire a builder yet. Can we expand our zone? There we go. So if we do it that way, we can. And then we can go back into plan build. And we can take another... What? No, let's do the copy. Now we have the room. Alright, and now we need to recenter because we changed where our stuff was. Alright, there we go. And as you can see, we're not all the way down either, so we can do a little bit more that way as well. In the interest of keeping this with our original plan for our storages, we can always just, whoops, whack another one of these on and do our storages off of that guy. 8 microchips and 1 antimatter cell. So what's the antimatter cell look like? Okay, the antimatter cell is kind of a chonker. Yes, he is. Can we get away with nestling it in there if we turn it vertical? Yeah, that's nice, but that's not where I wanted you. Can we put you in one of these? We can. We can put it there, and that actually gives us another thing going down as well. I'm worried that it might interfere here. We might have to move that one later. Alright, what's our microchip look like? Our microchip is relatively flat and thin. And how many connectors does it have? Thought it had 2. No? Just the one? Looks like it might just have the one. Alright, we need how many of these guys? We need 8. Yeesh. Alright, so let's start with, alright, then we can copy it and flip it 180 and put it on this side. And then we can actually take this, copy the sequence. There's 4. And there's 8. There's our 8 microchip. We need 5 quantum tubes. I really wish they would keep these in alphabetical order. I think it would be easier to find stuff that way. Alright, these also only have 1 connector, and I believe theirs is on the bottom. It is. So I think we might be able to keep them, yep, if we keep them right like that, we can at least get 3 up here, because our storages will come out and then back. So I think these will fit quite nicely down the middle, because we were able to fit one of these down the middle. So I think these are thin enough, pointed that way, that we can build to either side of them. You know what, we could just put the storages in and then take them out later. It seems like extra work, and it really is, but at least that way we don't have to plan around them and hope. And it actually helps that we have this as an extra step off the back, because we can just separate from here and get them all at once. We're not going to have to do them each individually. I don't know that it's going to need as much storage like the hull parts it has, but I would rather have too much storage than not enough. Now at this point, yeah, we can see how it's all extended from here and how these nicely fit in the middle. So we can just separate this, drag it out, let it go, and then drag it back to reattach, and it will move all of these to the bottom again after we're done with everything else. Alright, so we have 3 of these guys, and we needed 5. So let's see if they are thin enough that we can actually fit them underneath as well. So if we copy you and turn you 180 this way, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of them without a line. There we go. There's our 5. It should say, well, I guess it doesn't, they're not numbered, but there's 3 and there's 2. So there's our 5 quantum tubes. And we need 5 silicon wafers. Now, if I remember right, the silicon wafer ones are huge. Yeah, they are not so much that they take up a lot of space as they are that they are long and thin, and they also only have 1 connector. And we need 5 of them, and that is inconvenient. So what we're going to do with these is we're actually going to try and come the other way. Alright, and there's our 5 wafers. Then we need 3 graphene. I don't know that we'll be able to get 2. We might have to skip one, though. So let's copy him and stick one on the other side. We just need to get it close enough that it attaches. It doesn't have to be perfect. So there's 2 of them. We really only need 1 more. So I think what we might do is stick one off the end over here. Well, no, it let us do the one on the side. Let's try that before we get too crazy. Yeah, there we go. That works. Alright, so there's our 3 of those. And we need a superfluid coolant. These guys aren't super big. They're not really a big problem child. I wonder if we can actually hide it up underneath. I'll take it. It's not pretty, but it works. I'll take it. And then we've still got 2 here. 3, actually, that we could use in a pinch, provided it's something narrow. So now we're into boron, the bofu and whatnot. We do need 4 water makers. So let's see if we can hide some of those there. They are the ones that look very inappropriate. Ah, there it is. Yeah. I mean, the little boy, and he comes out sometimes, and you just can't see anything other than what you see. I hate when they torque just slightly like that. I like them being straight. Now, I don't necessarily think that we need the long one for this. I think we might be able to get away with a short one. We need 5 bofu production. I think that's at the bottom. Yeah. These guys are kind of big. They can work like an extended cross because they have 1 on either end. So we can actually get away with pulling some shenanigans here. Oh, why did you do that? Flipped upside down at the last second. Alright, so that gave us 4. And we needed 5, I think? 5, we did. So we'll take our last one. Like, I don't think... It might be narrow enough to fit there. You know what? Let's see. No, it's not. Alright, so there's our 5 bofu. We need 6 medical supply. There's our 6 medical supply. We already did our water. So we need 7 planktons. So now we need 1 medium, 1 small, and 15 large oases. And I think this probably isn't going to look as bad as it's going to be a jumble. It's not going to be super clean. Like, that one came out probably better than this one will. Now, in order to keep from the same issue that we had last time, we're going to take this whole module, detach it. It turned, and then reattach it. So that just moved all of our storage down here to be built last, because it's going to build all this in order. But this is what it's going to look like when it's done. It's a little hard to tell because it's all color-coded based on what it is. Blue being habitation, teal being storage and structural, and then orange being production, yellow being docking. But it's going to be more or less this coloration of the one next to us. So that's our whole parts one with all our whole parts down at the bottom. I did find out something super cool, though, that I would love to share with you guys. I had always used the map seat in the Katana to use the SETA, because you can't do it when you're standing still. But I found out that if you go to your personal office in the station and sit in your chair and then just move yourself to the map, you can also still use it. SETA active. And you can see everybody's moving ridiculously quickly now. A large trader moving like the small ones do. The Xenon have been making a very big push recently, and it is problematic. They're actually starting to build. So we're going to have to do something about that. And then they were up here causing all kinds of hate and discontent. That wasn't helping either. But let's go and take out the Ka'ak here so that this place is more or less safe to travel through. I mean, it's never perfectly safe. You can't do a straight line. But we can take out the Ka'ak bases and then go down and work on the Xenon issue. But I will bring you back when we're close, and we're going to go and mess up some Ka'ak. So I'm a little mad at myself. I had paused, and I had thought I had unpaused, and I did not. So we actually came down here and destroyed the Ka'ak emplacement, and yeah, none of it was recorded. All of it was on pause. So that's fun. So I left him there for the in-system combat because these guys are small and hard to track. So we're going to have him finish cleaning up, and then we're going to send him up to help clean out at Tikva's Choice, because we're going to have to take care of that before it becomes a problem. So we will rejoin for combat in that particular arena. Hopefully I don't forget to unpause this time. Because, yeah, we took out both defense platforms and the installation all without taking anything other than... Like, our shields never really even went down. They just twitched a little bit like they're doing right now, where they show up and then disappear. So we are going to go ahead and destroy this guy now. We're going to start guidance to object, and then we're going to pop over to our Rattlesnake. As long as we don't get a K, we should be fine to basically ignore the fighters, let our turrets do their job on them, while we take out the defense platform. But we can't allow them to have a permanent foothold in Tikva's Choice, or we're going to have a hell of a time getting them out of there.
Entering system. Tikva's Choice.
Alright, champ, let me drive.
Xenon defense platform.
And since we're built to be able to hit it without it being able to hit back, I feel like we're better suited than the Argons to take this out. Especially since they don't have anybody up here. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they do and they just got wiped out? Like, how's the Detrius? Oh, they're coming. I'm betting that most of their force got wiped out. There were 2 Ks there earlier. So I'm betting that they took out the Ks and that was where most of them went. We do still have... Yeah, we still have good satellite coverage here. Good. I don't want to get crept up on by a K. Not my idea of a good time. So we're probably going to drop at about 10K out. Maybe a little less. Maybe 8K. Nope, that was a bad idea. Okay, this takes a little bit longer to stop than I thought.
Xenon defense platform.
Thankfully, this one doesn't have guns yet, or that could have been very, very bad. Well, I guess it does have guns. It just doesn't really hurt. Alright. Now for some thrilling just sit here and shoot it gameplay. It's actually a little unfortunate that it doesn't have guns, because I can't prove that we can sit outside of range, other than the fact that I took out the Ka'ak base, which was completely finished. But I'm sure there will be other opportunities. It is very time consuming, but it's perfectly safe. The safe is the important bit. If he intercepts one of those, we're going to take a hit with the Argons. So we can sit at like 4.8 out and still have all of our guns work.
Odysseus. E. Xenon defense platform.
There we go. And now it's Ash.
PE.
Okay. If you want to play. And not one of those hit. This is why I let it do out-of-system combat, because by the time we get turned, it's going to be half gone again. But it's not even pink in our shields, like it's not really a problem.
You're taking hits from me and not tolerate your actions.
Oh no! We weren't trying to shoot you, buddy. We were trying to shoot the, cock. Or the Xenon. Yeesh.
M.
I swear their fighters have a death wish. So here's what we'll do. We'll get up. And we'll have him first.
We have new orders.
No, you don't.
Navigation.
I want you to
Fly
collect
the following
drops.
Position.
Affirmative.
And then I want you to... yeah, we don't have the option to attack it. I don't want to leave him here unattended just in case a K comes through. So we're going to have him loot and they can mop up the small fighters on their own. We took out the station for them. Yeah, I think it's time to go back to base. I like the empty picture frames. That's a nice touch. Now guys, we've built a couple of stations and we're definitely going to be building more in the near future. I don't know... I can't imagine it super stimulating to watch somebody else build a station. I feel like it would be a better use of your guys' time. Your time is precious, and what you spend with me I very much appreciate, and I don't want to waste what little attention you guys can give me. So if me building stations is boring as all hell, just let me know. I'm recording the actual building process, but if you are more interested in just a synopsis once it's done instead of the actual building, I get it. I really do. It can't be super fun to watch somebody try and piece together how to get a monstrosity to fit inside a square. But if you guys want to see that, then I will by all means keep doing it, but I don't want to waste your time if that's not interesting to you. I can just do a brief synopsis after it's built of, you know, this is how we set it up, here it is, etc. I mean, one or two of them probably help people that haven't built a lot of stations to see how to do it between the building and using the tool and whatnot. But I figure at this point, you guys are super bright or you wouldn't be playing this game. So I can't imagine that you guys need a terrible lot of help with that. I think a synopsis is probably better for your time. But if you guys are interested, I don't want to stop doing it and find out that you guys like that. So I guess maybe leave me a comment or let me know what you guys think. Either way. I mean, I'm cool with it either way. It doesn't bother me. It's more about you guys and what's fun for you. So we still have a lot of factories to go. We need water factories. We need all the factories for the components for ships, shields, advanced composites, plasma conductors, etc. And then the actual trade stations and the shipyards themselves as well. And I don't want to make everybody sit through building each one of those individually if it's not fun. But at this point, I mean, we took out the Ka'ak, and I'm sorry I forgot to unpause the recording for that. Full disclosure, when I set us up to move here, I did not speed up time to fly there. I went downstairs and got something to eat. And when I came back, I just started talking like nothing had happened and forgot to unpause. That's what really happened there. And then I realized once it was dead and I was doing mop-up that the little pause icon was still flashing on OBS. So that was my bad. But we did actually take out this one, which was nice. I kind of feel like we should send the Raptor down here to deal with this mess. I'm just worried with as many that just came through here that there's a K on its way, and I don't want to lose the Raptor. The Raptor will probably win the fight, but I would really like it to have backup. We have cherry-picked a lot of the recipes that I wanted. Usually I go for all of the recipes in the game, just in case something changes, but I don't think that's really necessary here. I think just getting the ones that we're planning on using, we'll wind up with all of the Boron ones eventually, but I feel like it's silly to get all the recipes for everybody else when we know we're not going to equip them. Like the Mark 1 guns, if there's a Mark 2, why would you build the Mark 1? Possibly resource saving, but since we're going to have a fully functional, self-contained ecosphere, I don't see why it's going to matter. Destroyed some stations, built some stations. Let me know what you guys think on the station thing, though. If you guys learned anything useful today, or if you had a good time, please don't be afraid to drop a like. If you're feeling friendly, maybe go ahead and subscribe. But either way, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.